Talks with Dorks, Season 2, Episode 2, and we're calling this one now with more added Ryan, because if you think it was confusing last time when we introduced my nephew Ryan, aka Woody, and that there was going to be two Ryans, we've now added another one. You can see four of us on the screen. I'm not going to point because I have no clue where they are on the screen that you're seeing. We've obviously got Woody Ryan, Tony's back.
Hello, hello.
Don't forget, some people are just listening, Tony. You've got to say something.
Hi, everybody.
There we go. And then introducing the newest Ryan to the team. I'm pointing down, but he's down there somewhere. It's Ryan Free or Ryan Ranger, whatever we're going to call him. Ryan the Third, we'll call him. He's joined the team to have a conversation because later on in the show, we're going to be talking a little bit about something that I definitely grew up with. I've got loads of it on the screen. I know Ryan the Third definitely into it because that's how we met, and that will come later. And I'm pretty sure Tony was present during the 90s, so he knows enough. Woody doesn't have a clue.
No.
He's never been a fan of this certain thing, aka Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, or just Power Rangers. But boys, welcome back to another episode. And Ryan, welcome.
Hello.
Right. I just check in. All nerves are gone. We're just going to have a conversation. This is Talks with Dorks. Everyone happy to start off. Just get into this.
Yeah, let's do
Go
it.
for it.
Into it.
Into it. Let's dive right into it. Now, topic one of today's show, we're going to catch up on what everyone's been up to. Has anyone seen anything? Anyone watched anything? Anyone found out any information that they find relevant to the podcast? Let's start with Mr. Late to the party, Tony of Bingers. Tony, what have you been up to since the last episode?
A whole lot of working, a whole lot of daddying. You know, twins life is a tough life, and yeah, I've been grafting away with this podcast called Talks with Dorks, which is starting to consume my life. But yeah, yeah, I've been working on a few new TikTok ideas for the show and for myself, which does segue nicely into today's news of TikTok possibly being banned in America, which I'm not sure how much of it's just noise because we've heard of this before. But yeah, it could be quite concerning for the app. But then on the flip side, they've also announced that they are, well, not announced, some people have found in the code for TikTok that they are pushing for TikTok Photos, a new standalone app, which is just for still imagery. So trying to stick it to Instagram, I think.
It is, I mean, we were talking about this earlier, Woody. We probably shouldn't have had a conversation before the podcast, but it would be a big hit to the whole world if America don't have TikTok, let alone the content creator, let alone everything else. Yeah, it's a lot going on with that. Woody, just what I've just realised.
What have you realised?
We're recording the video, aren't we?
And you're not recording the audio.
I'm not doing the audio just yet, so I'm going to have to do my own opener for the audio. That was really stupid.
Well, it's a good job I can send it to you.
Oh, you can, yeah?
Yeah, I can.
Right, okay. So we'll come back. We'll forget that. Anyone that's listening, yeah, I recorded this from get-go. You send it to me and I'll just edit it. Woody, what about you? Have you been up to anything before we get to our special guest?
I've been dealing with my wife being pregnant. That's been a main thing. A lot of hospital appointments and getting ready for baby to come, and possibly getting into radio.
Oh,
that's another thing that's
yeah.
happened this week. I had an interview at a radio station, just a hospital, like local radio station. So I'll be getting into that and doing a bit of that.
Now, I'm all happy for that, man. I told you, I'm really proud of you. Just don't let it, get interfere with this.
Yeah,
okay? That's all I'm saying.
And it's very similar to Tony. This podcast is taken over my life.
Now you know how I feel, and this is sharing the wealth. Right, our special guest, Ryan the Third, is joining us. Ryan, who is one of three Ryans, one of three people that lives up north, but the only actual northerner to be on the podcast ever. Ryan, welcome to the show, man. How are you? What you been up to?
Hello, thank you. I'm doing pretty good, to be honest. Yeah, similar to these guys. Been working a lot. Rewatching a couple of Marvel series to get caught up with a few things. Rewatched Daredevil recently. But I just realised that the new Godzilla film's coming out soon, which I'm very excited for.
Coming out the 29th of March, I believe.
29th,
A week after the movie that I'm excited for. Ghostbusters comes out a week before. So, yeah, that's not a bad couple of weeks. Ghostbusters and then Godzilla versus Kong. We had this discussion on the last episode, right? I really hope that there is a Transformers crossover because that arm looks way too much like Bumblebee. I know it's Kong,
Yeah.
but I feel like he's stolen it from Bumblebee, and that's the secret because we didn't know about Mecha Godzilla in the last one until it happened.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Sorry, my cat decided to get involved.
Listen, you keep your pussy to yourself. We may be able to swear on this, but we don't show any nudity. Okay?
Oh, lovely. He's just having a good
They've
time,
all
yeah,
except
running
for
around.
OnlyFans for that.
Yeah, basically, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, you can say what the fuck you want on this podcast. Just like try not to like cross the mark too much with your jokes and don't get your cock out because we now video these. It used to be all right.
That's me heading off then, guys.
Probably a good idea. Me and Ash used to just record these naked.
Oh, right, okay.
That was just audio. That's the way it goes. Before we dive into the actual full geekiness, I should probably mention a little bit of an update since the last time we recorded. The last episode we actually recorded was episode 1 of season 2, the rebranded. Tony, what is going on in your head, mate?
It's that fucking team you like, innit? I bought this from TikTok shop. This piece of shit.
Did you get your laptop from the TikTok shop as well? Because that weren't working very well just now, was it?
Son of a bitch, it's a 1,200 quid Mac. not from bloody TikTok shop. From CEX.
Yeah, probably infected with more viruses than most girls in Essex, but
Oh, you'd know about that.
That's why you come down and visit so often.
It is. Age isn't the same.
I've completely lost where I'm going now because we've gone off on a tangent. Right, so I was going to say we've relaunched Talks with Dorks for season 2, a new way of doing it. We've got our YouTube up now, which I'm not going to lie, is doing better than I hoped, which is good. Big thank you to anyone that's listened. Big shout out to the new guys that have joined the team. Ryan, I'll be thanking you on the next episode when you get all your hundreds of friends to listen and watch and everything. We've done really well, lads. We've got new subscribers, new listeners, more people commenting. Thank you to you guys, and thank you to everyone that's tuned in and give us feedback.
Yeah, and we've got the new format. We're doing the games. So we're doing a podcast every other week, and every other Friday we're having some sort of games or some different segments coming out, which is really cool.
Which means links onto the social media.
Yeah, go on.
Oh, you can carry on, Tony. You were going to say something.
Yeah.
I was just saying, just links onto the social media.
I was literally just going to say, thanks to everyone that's engaged and been a part of this so far. And, one day, let's be real, we'd like to monetize this. And if we monetize it, I'll buy myself a new fucking lamp. So then I'm not recording by baby light anymore.
Well, we could all probably afford an actual proper setup. Woody's got the most professional setup. I mean, to the guys watching, they can just see how cool our little setups look. That looks all right. But if you was to look around, we can actually see it's not professional at all. I'm sat on a fishing chair with a little dinner table in front of me. Tony's got a £2 light off TikTok. Ryan sat on his bed, cross-legged, butt naked, halfway down. Ryan the third, sorry. Woody, he's just sat there with his bottle of Coke and he's got rid of his Man United pictures. No football this time, which is good. No competition.
Yeah.
But so we've all been up to different things. Obviously, Woody, I'm hoping, because we're going to start this content called Woody's Homework. I hope you've been getting up to date with all of that.
I've been trying, amongst being a busy guy, but yeah, I've been trying.
Listen, you got to start thinking about this podcast every so often, yeah? Not about other things. Where's your commitment?
Priorities.
Right, exactly. But also, anyone watched anything cool? I know Ryan the third said he's been watching Daredevil. I'm taking that's in preparation for Born Again.
Yes, it is. And because I've seen him at Comic-Con a couple of months ago.
I like name dropping. I like it. Welcome to the world of Talks with Dorks. If you can bring up something that's relevant to something cool you did, you fucking tell us them stories.
Yeah, it was unreal seeing him.
Charlie Cox, right? That's his name.
Charlie
Daredevil.
Cox.
What was he like? Did he see you? Or was he?
I didn't go to see him. I just went to the overall event and obviously seeing his panel, and it's actually more surprising that he's not blind.
Yeah, he can see me. He saw me waving.
Yeah, like when he's blinking and talking, you're thinking that he's not a blind man.
Yeah, that's like I take it. I can't think of anything else he's ever been in to sort of notice that he isn't blind. To be
No,
honest,
it's just crazy. Like he's just a normal, actual, not. Yeah, he's not blind. He doesn't wear a red suit on a night, and
I mean, I do. I've got my Power Ranger suit somewhere.
yeah, well, I got a couple hung up in case Weatherby gets a bit feisty. But
you want to go down and see them two near Sheffield? I think there's danger. It's more dangerous down there.
Yeah, speaking of that, which you've got something planned on Sunday, haven't you, Tony? Comic-Con.
I don't think my body.
Yeah, off to Sheffield Comic Con. I've not been to any of the smaller ones. I've only done London Comic Con, so LFCC, and God, I forget the name of the other one now. But yeah, I only been to them. MCM, that was it. Yeah, only done those in London. So I've not even looked at the guest list for this. I know it's going to be a lot smaller, maybe a few more Z-listers than A-listers. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, get some content for the podcast. And also, it's the first time my eldest daughter's going to anything like this. So getting her cosplay all sorted. Yeah, mate, I'm buzzing for it, to be honest, yeah.
How old is she?
11.
11. So she, okay.
Yeah.
What's she? Do you know what she's going as? Yeah. Or you still not fully sorted it?
Yeah. So she's going as Hootie from Our House, which is I've watched a couple of episodes with her. It's a cartoon on Disney Plus, and it's quite supernatural, and it's very obviously very forward for compared to cartoons we're watching. So there's like there's a bisexual character in it who likes boys and girls. There's a character that's, I don't know if they're transgender or gender neutral, but yeah, there's definitely some like androgynous theme going on with one of the characters. And visually, it's really cool. I just haven't had, I've just have not had the attention span to watch a proper episode yet.
Sounds like doing like a lot of the shows in that are doing now. Incorporating the woke world where everyone's got to be, which I can, but it's like there's certain shows where you're watching it and it feels like if they've moved in that direction, it feels weird because it's changed the tone of the show quite a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Doctor Who's done it, but Doctor Who's done it in a really good way. They've incorporated, because the new Doctor, I think it's the first openly gay Doctor. I think we said this last time. It's the first openly gay Doctor, which it's great the way they've done it because that's how it's done. But in certain shows, you're watching a new season of a show, and certain characters are now they're transgender, now they're this, and it's like it feels like it's kind of been shoved down your throat a little bit. It's like, okay, just the
damned
way
if
it
you
is.
do, damned if you don't. And that's Talk With Dorks political hour done with.
Yeah, let's get away from
this. Let's move on. Woody, right? Because what we're going to do now, and I did touch on social media. By the way, guys, if you haven't already, go follow us on everything: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, X, Threads, all of that. YouTube being a big one. At Talk Dork Podcast, you can find us. We are now going to be doing this a little bit more structured, so it's not just a random where we go off in tangents about politics that we shouldn't have done. We're going to do segments, and we're all going to take control of it. Us being me, Woody, and Tony have got different ideas. Ryan the Third is going to be maybe slightly out of touch with this, but this is the fun part of learning. Woody, we're going to have a segment dedicated to you that you're going to talk about and you're going to introduce. So rather than me sitting there getting on about it, carry on.
Yeah, so we are going to talk about the roads to WrestleMania. It's like what we did there.
Yeah, because Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes to WrestleMania.
So
I like it.
We are well on the way to WrestleMania now. We've had SmackDown and Raw this week, and I thought we could just touch on some of the most recent stuff that's happened. And I think we've started off with SmackDown on Friday.
SmackDown. Well, we're going to talk about the massive, massive promo that I'm not going to lie, I've never been a Seth guy, but the moment where Seth told Rock to shut his mouth up, my ears perked up because I was like, oh, mate. So Ryan the Third, to set the scene, The Rock and Roman Reigns have challenged Cody and Seth to a match. Cody and Seth are coming to SmackDown to accept or not accept. The Rock and Roman in the ring. The other two come out. Man, did this shit get heated?
Yeah, but
What do
how
we
did they
think?
come out as well? They came out like the Shield, come from
Yeah,
the top. I thought that was so
they
good.
come from the crowd. It's a shame they didn't come out to the Shield music. That would have been quite cool. That
Imagine.
would have been quite cool. They did. Yeah, they come through the crowd. And like I said, the way they're building this up is just so good. Like, you don't know which way the story's going to go, but there's so many theories of who's going to turn on who, and the way they're doing it in the ring. Tony, what did you watch SmackDown? Did you see this segment we're talking about?
I saw the segment, and it made me want to double up on my tenor lady. I need to make sure I'm well padded out for this, because it is making me very, very aroused, getting wrestlegasms thinking about it. Easily the best build up to a WrestleMania that I can remember. It's got the mainstream appeal with Dwayne coming in. It's got this very, very once in a lifetime story of Roman being champion for forever days. Cody, I was just explaining this to a workmate today. This is insane what Cody's doing. He was in WWE. He got fired from WWE. He set up the rival company to WWE. Now he's back main eventing 2 WrestleManias in a row. Split hairs, maybe 3, because he's main eventing 2 nights this year. Yeah, mate, I'm just absolutely buzzing for it.
Yeah.
And that segment this last week is as excited as I was. It somehow just made me peak a little higher for it.
And this is what we spoke about on the first episode of the podcast where we brought it back. We said about this tag match. We wasn't sure whether it's going to happen. Now it's officially happening, and you got the stipulations involved with if The Rock and Reigns win, then the Bloodline rules for the main event on night 2.
Mm-hmm.
And if they lose, if Rock and Roman lose, Bloodline's not allowed to be anywhere near the ring for both matches, right? For both the
I
World
believe
Heavyweight.
so, yeah.
I think they're making a point of that. Ryan the Third is probably sitting there thinking, well, I know The Rock's back. What can we talk about? My hope for this is by the time we finish this conversation, that you as the person that's not as massively interested, by the end of this, you're like, I'm going to watch WrestleMania this year.
Yeah,
because
you
of
know
these
what? I'm
guys.
thinking the exact same thing then.
You're going to start watching, okay?
Yeah,
Yeah,
making it sounding appealing. Yeah.
And this is just one match.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is just one match. And so this is obviously the biggest match. The Rock and Roman, the Cody, the Seth is the biggest talking point. But there's so much as well. There's so many good matches happening that WrestleMania is just going to be fucking epic. And it's number 40.
Yeah, I can't wait for it, to be fair.
Big birthday. I asked Woods the other day about this, and Ryan, what do you think? Do you think that we've got a chance of a clean sweep of title changes this Mania? Every title that's on the line can be changed quite easily.
Well, I was saying this about the World Heavyweight and whatever Roman calls his one, the Ultimate Belt or whatever. That obviously we're pretty certain that belt's going to change hands. Roman is going to lose to Cody, unless they're going to continue this on for another year. That belt's going to change. Would they change Seth's belt? Because then there's both titles changing. But like you say, every belt, like Gunther versus
Zayn,
Zayn,
which by the way, I'm going to throw it out there. I'm putting a 5 on Gable being added to that match.
I thought this as well. I read something about this earlier on. So yeah, I think it could be as well.
Sami Zayn potentially, again, like you say, be good, because like other than the tag team titles, he's had a good run in the last couple of years. The last few months haven't been like, I know he was injured and stuff, but he's been very quiet for a while since the Bloodline thing kind of ended and the tag team titles. So about time he got a title. The tag team championships, I've got an idea who I think is going to win it.
Go on.
Who's the current tag team champions?
Judgment Day.
Who is the 2 people one person in particular we're loving seeing on the telly, who's got his old tag team partner back? Awesome Truth. And the Miz and R-Truth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be great.
I think that
give him that Mania moment.
give them the main moment to get that tag team title changed. Miz's obviously biggest WrestleMania moment. He doesn't remember because he was concussed.
And it wasn't his biggest moment either. He got
No,
upstaged by the special ref and Cena.
Yes, exactly.
Is that the match against Cena at WrestleMania? I think that's the
Yeah.
last one I watched.
With Rock being heavily involved.
Yeah,
and,
that's right.
Miz just being a backseater to his own story. Yeah.
Yeah.
To set up the story for the next year or something like that.
Yeah. The twice in a
Right.
lifetime.
Ryan the Third's era, we were discussing this earlier, is kind of the 2004, wasn't it, to 2011?
2008 to about 2013.
It's definitely a
Okay.
Cena mark. Definitely a Cena mark.
Yeah,
PG Cena.
I wasn't at the time.
But this is what I was saying to you earlier. I used to hate Cena, and that's just because I was wrestling, and wrestling I loved. The reason I got into wrestling was the Attitude Era. So he come along as the PG guy, and I was like, oh, he's all about the kids. But now I look at him, and I'm just like, no. To be fair, he took the ball and run with it in an era where things had changed and went with the right direction. Obviously, I'm not a kid, so I wasn't enjoying it as much, but the kids were. They were loving him. So I've got all the respect in the world. And the fact that the PG guy has gone from being the PG guy to going into movies and having sex scenes in Peacemaker and all kinds of things, being the swearing. And The Rock, who was the Attitude Era guy, has never done a sex scene ever that I know of.
And then you got John Cena being naked at the Oscars as well.
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Any excuse to get his cock out, basically. He must be well gifted.
Sticking to SmackDown, another thing I wanted to ask you guys is, what do you think about the Prime middle of the ring sponsorship with Logan Paul and KSI? And
Hated the Prime bottle.
yeah,
Loved the RKO on
yeah, I
KSI.
was just about to say about that. What about Randy?
He done well. He sold that nice.
He took it very well. Yeah, we were talking about it
Right.
earlier, wasn't we?
Right, the third. Do you know that Logan Paul is as much as I don't like him, he's in WWE now, but he's actually a good wrestler.
Yeah, I've seen clips and I've seen discussions saying that he's actually a lot better than he was expected to be.
Yes,
He's a lot
massively.
better than a lot of the roster.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's actually dedicated. He's doing some good work, but obviously he's playing the heel, the bad guy,
Right.
and he's leaning into the fact that a lot of our age probably don't like him because all the kids and TikTokers love him.
Yeah.
But he basically, he done a thing the other day where they took away the canvas and they've got the rings are now got Prime bottles.
Yeah, it's
Is
only,
that a permanent thing or?
only for PLE events.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Not all of them.
So yeah, basically,
Uncle Ryan, question for
Uncle
you.
Ryan,
then.
that'd be me.
Uncle Ryan. So you don't like the Prime bottle on the mat, yeah?
No.
Without going into a massive tirade, why not?
Because a wrestling ring, that's more, it's boxing. When you see boxing, you see adverts for everything everywhere, don't you? There's always an advert. Even the corner post. Wrestling has always been a plain canvas or the wrestling logo. Seeing an advert in the middle of that ring, as soon as they put it back, I went, armpits. No, that looks terrible. That again, like I said the other week, when they brought fucking whatever his name is from the UFC, and he randomly started doing Chandler from the UFC doing a promo on Conor McGregor in WWE, was like, this is where things worry me, that they're going to change the product too much. It's going to become too corporate. It's going to have too much advertising, and me and Ryan can talk about adverts in a minute with WWE.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Fucking hell.
We'll talk about that now. Then we'll go on to Raw. That's just happened.
This is why I don't like adverts, Tony.
Yes, we found a way of watching it, and it happened to be the American channel.
Oh, God, yeah.
What we were watching, and my God, right, go ahead. What was
right? Every fucking 3 minutes there was adverts, and we're talking 5 minutes of adverts. Like straight up, there was going to be a match between R-Truth and the Judgment Day or Damian Priest, right? Damian Priest entered, adverts. R-Truth entered, adverts. We come back after the adverts. We're halfway through the match. We didn't even know that what happened, and the match ended.
Yeah.
Wow.
So most of it was just adverts. 15 minutes of a wrestling match, and most of it was just adverts. It was so bad.
It was all food adverts as well.
I was starving. It was pizza after pizza. I've seen Domino's,
Arby's.
Pizza Hut, Arby's, every kind of
Wingstop.
pizza in America. Wingstop.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there. He's like, I've got to make burgers. So I'm pointing again. He's down there somewhere. Woody's like, I'm gonna go make some burgers. I'm a bowl of cereal because I can't cook. And it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Absolute fucking fuming. So Rutherford, if you're gonna watch wrestling, don't watch it on an American stream because it's just you won't get to watch any wrestestling.
Right.
So,
we condone or would do that, right?
No dodgy streaming or illegal
No.
sites or no.
No.
All legit.
Don't get me wrong.
No sticks here.
No, yeah. At the end of the episode, we'll post a link for Tony's Fire Stick service. You can get your legal streams for everything. We only take 1% commission off Tony for this. Yeah, don't be going down the illegal stream. I'll be watching it on Netflix next year, so that'll be all right. It'll be fully legal unless just stop paying for Netflix.
So speaking of Raw, then what have you guys seen of Raw? Did you see any of it, Tony?
Do you want to watch the first? I'm going to say probably half hour, 40 minutes. With good intention of trying to make my way through it, and I just knocked out during the women's tag. But again, like, I do catch up, I do keep up. So through reading through like the snippets on their own site, and then of course Simon Miller doing his ups and downs. That's kind of how I'd get my main content for Raw. Yeah, again, from what I saw of it, it's building up to Mania. I think the best thing I saw was make sure I get this the right way around. Jay's promo. Yeah, fired up. Guys got charisma in like absolute spades, and like I wonder how long he had that for. Like all those years of Usos just being a tag team, like not even like Bloodline, just running the tag team. Like, was he hiding that this whole time?
Yeah, I text Ryan on when it was happening. I said the crowd control that he's got. Nearly every person in that arena was just going nuts.
Yeah,
to every word that he said.
I'm looking down at Ryan the Third, and I just think he's soaking it in. He's like, I need to be into wrestling. I really need to be into wrestling right now, which is good.
Wrestling is cool again.
Wrestling is cool again.
It was always cool. I just never, because of the times it's on, I just never continued to watch it.
This is what I was going to say to you
earlier.
When
you don't watch it live, you feel like it's not the same.
Yeah, but especially now because you just open up social media, and if you've just sniffed and thought about wrestling, your phone shows you shit about wrestling all the time.
You just now we spoke about this. If you've got your phone anywhere near you, that's all you're gonna get.
Yeah, don't listen to Alexa.
Has anyone got their Alexas near them? Alexa, play the Willy Willy Bum Bum song.
That's it. Everyone who's listening to this is gonna get it.
Joke's on you. It was on standby anyway.
Woody, for some reason your mic sounds really like it's right up against your mouth. It's gone a little.
It's not.
Yeah. Okay. No, I know it's not because I can see it, but you sound really close. I think that you're trying to compensate for the last episode when you were really quiet.
Yeah, but on my things, like you said, I'm quite low. That's why I turned it up a little bit, but I'll turn it back down.
Yeah, you watch. You'll fuck the video now. My bad.
To be fair, I just thought it'd be like Darth Vader.
You did start going a little bit. It was a little bit quite like I said, it was like you were like that.
Right.
That's probably just done it. But even though I can see you're not on the camera, joys of having cameras now. Back to wrestling adverts. You asked me my opinion on the Prime advert in the ring. I was dealing with that on Friday after SmackDown, and then 10,000 adverts just trying to watch 2 hours of Raw out of the 3. What do you guys think? What do you think of the Prime bottle?
I don't mind it. I mean, it's only for certain events, and obviously they're partnered up with UFC. That's what UFC do. So it's going to become more like that. We're going to have to just deal with it. I think that's the way it's going.
Yeah, I really don't care. I think much like a bit like a wrestler's name change. You know, you can get up in arms and go, "Oh no, God, that's rubbish. I can't believe that's happened." And 2 seconds into it, you do forget, unless. With the exception of that, the pitch black match between Wyatt and LA Knight, where everything was day glow and fluorescent and all the rest of it, that kind of took away from the match. It became too overbearing. But yeah, just a little graphic on the ring across the LED boards, which I'm almost sure that's what these were made for, is for future advertising purposes. It's real estate. They're a business. They're there to make money. To me, it won't take away from the matches unless it does purposely take away from the match.
But this is what I'm concerned about. You look at football now, like even with football, they used to just have the banners around it. Now they've got moving screens, and I find if I don't watch football, if I was to watch football, I sit there going, "Oh look, they've got Barclays advert on that. Oh right, someone just
Yeah.
scored." Like it's too much advertising, and trust me, right? Woody was there. I don't know why he's agreeing with the Prime bottle, right? Go watch 3 hours of Raw on a fucking American stream and tell me you're happy with adverts. Because trust me, if you don't end up ordering pizza at 3 o'clock in the morning or going fucking insane, you'll agree with me. Because 1 minute when they've got adverts all over the place, you lot in a year's time when everything's advertised on there, when like they're walking down to the ring in boots made out of Prime bottles or some shit, you'll be like, "That's a bit overkill." And I'm like, told you that shit was boring.
I'd rather it be all over the ring than it be interrupting every single second of Raw.
Like
Yeah.
me and Woody were like at the beginning of his, I'm really bored of this women's tag match. We're like, that was the only wrestling we saw. Every other match was just an advert. It was fucking bollocks. But yes, Woody, you've got all the notes on wrestling. Is there anything else we need to talk about?
So we got what's happening with the tag team championships. We got that there's going to be a ladder match at WrestleMania. I can't remember the teams involved. Can anyone help me out with that?
I don't think have they all been announced yet, because I thought they were
they
doing
haven't been
deciders.
announced, no.
But
And this is what I'm saying. I
No.
think Awesome Truth's going to be a part of it.
yeah,
Yeah, I'd say Awesome Truth, New Day, Phantasma,
can't think of any
and
other.
then obviously, maybe Alpha. No, see, not Alpha Academy, because I want Gable in the IC match. Obviously, Judgment Day themselves. So 2 more to film my card.
Yeah, who is the one that he's hanging around with R-Truth at the minute that he calls him DX, but he's like
DIY Ciampa and Gargano.
Yeah, Tony, you're frozen for me, but
You've just like,
I can still hear
your
you.
light's working fine. You're still there, but your camera's just frozen for some reason. Those on audio quality. This is where we're just going to carry on talking while Tony sorts himself. There he is.
Back.
Yeah, I definitely think. What was we talking about? I think they call themselves. What's he call them? Regeneration X or something?
That's what Truth calls them. I can't remember what if they've actually got a name or not. So yeah, we've got that.
DIY.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
DIY. But he called, yeah, he
You
calls
seen the
it
little web clip of I think it was just filmed for TikTok of Truth knocking on a door and speaking to what you think is Gargano, saying, "Oh, I think you're really special, man. You've got a lot of HBK about you. People think you're the next Shawn Michaels, and like you got big things coming ahead of you, kid." And then the camera pans around, and it is Shawn Michaels.
Yeah. Oh, mate.
Just Truth being Truth.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. Ryan the Third, back to you on your wrestling. Do you remember R-Truth?
Yeah, didn't he used to come down to the ring singing his own theme song?
Still does.
Yeah. He still does.
He
You
had
probably
little Jimmy as well.
That's what I was going to say. You probably remember the Little Jimmy era, right? This guy, no matter what he does, this guy is still fucking hilarious. He they went to Elimination Chamber and they did it in Australia.
Right.
And he posted a clip in the back of a taxi. He's like, right, I'm here in Austria, and I've been to the arena. No one's here. I've been to the hotel. No one's here. And then he starts talking Australian.
Genius.
He's a comedy genius. Like he's basically saying that he's turned up to Austria, thinking and he can't find anyone. So they're all in Australia.
I've seen a clip of him on about being a match or something, and there's a couple of them in the ring. And they're like, "You're not even in this match, mate."
Oh, he did. When
he like, "Oh, my bad."
Yeah. The Helen. Was it the Money in the Bank match, wasn't it? It's Money in the Bank, and they're like,
I think there were Roman Reigns in the ring, and I remember that, and he was like, "Oh, this one's on me, guys."
And, yeah, that's my bad. That's what he does all the time when he comes out, interrupt Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman, and he starts like, "I'm going to be in the Royal Rumble. I'm going to take you out, Paul Heyman."
Yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah,
the guy's hilarious, and he's just like, as soon as you see him on the screen, you know something funny's going to fucking happen. You know it's just going to be comedy gold. He's so good. I always use that term, comedy gold. But back to the tag matches.
Yeah, so we got that, but we got to see Becky Lynch in action against Liv Morgan on Raw, and then the backstage interaction with Nia Jax as well. What do you think about that?
Oh, she got
When
for a
it comes
table,
to
right?
Ajax,
Yeah, yeah,
all I was thinking, that's probably another injury that she's caused.
yeah. When I see that, I thought the same thing.
That's someone else not going to
Which,
WrestleMania.
which actually, yeah, makes me think if she's heavily involved with Lynch now, maybe Ripley's the only person that's going to walk away with their championship.
Yeah. Did Lynch call out Nia and say she's going to fight her soon before WrestleMania at the end of Raw? Or I'm sure I might have seen something online about that, but yeah, maybe we'll talk about that in the future.
Speaking of injuries before WrestleMania, have you guys seen who's going to be in Chicago next week?
No.
Let me guess.
Someone, yeah, Chicago. Even Ryan the Third, who's not upstate on
Pretty
wrestling,
sure
I
I
know
can
he
guess who
knows.
that is. Yeah,
Who's it going to be?
CM Punk.
CM Punk, who, like I said to you earlier, came back, got injured in his first proper televised match, the Royal Rumble, got injured, so he's meant to be out for 6 months. Because of the rehabilitation and stuff he's been doing, and the Drew keeping him relevant, I think he's going to be involved. He might at least be a special guest referee or something.
Yeah.
Why would he be coming back? He's keeping him relevant still, and I think Drew will probably interrupt him, but he's coming back, and I'm excited.
Well, there's the wholly sort of Avengers subplot with Cody, isn't there? Of him getting recruits and anyone that the bloodlines crossed or done over, that he's trying to recruit them in. But as Punk's not really had any dealings with bloodlines since he's been back, really, has he?
I mean, he was basically the one that brought the Shield in originally, wasn't he? Back in the day, but
Yeah,
he hasn't
I
had.
suppose there's that.
He didn't have enough time to fucking set up a storyline with anyone. He didn't have a singles match, bless him. So yeah, he could be recruiting him. I still have favoritism that Austin's going to be there and get involved and set up Rock Austin 4 next year. I mean, Ryan, did you see a couple of years ago where Austin fought Kevin Owens?
Yeah.
He came back. Yeah. Ryan the Third.
Sorry, I didn't know which one.
Saw a clip of it. I didn't see the full match, but
so everyone Owens was calling him out, and they'd set up. He was going to be on the Kevin Owens show, and everyone just thought it was going to be Stone Cold's going to come out, give him a stunner, and that's it. But the minute Austin walked out, you looked and you go, he's in wrestling gear. He's about to have a match, and they had a fucking solid match for a man that hasn't wrestled since 2003. Was it 3? Yeah, 2003. Fully wrestled. Hasn't had all the neck issues to stop him wrestling. He come out and put on and took some big bumps as well, with concrete bumps and stuff.
Concrete, yeah.
Yeah, so and every day, ever since The Rock's come back, Stone Cold Steve Austin's been posting videos of him weight training.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit ironic that The Rock's come back, and also said nobody out the back could beat me, and the man that has beat his ass more than anyone at WrestleMania is in training.
And by the way, the Third, in case you didn't know, Dwayne Johnson is now on the not storyline, is on board of directors for TKO, which is the overall group that owns WWE now. And we all know Austin's history with authority figures, so maybe onto something.
Yeah, I filled Ryan the Third in on that earlier about how he's literally the boss now, and that's something they brought into the storyline, which is really good. So, like I said, honestly, Ryan the Third, get your ass into wrestling, and you'll be like, oh my god, I'm so glad. You've got to watch the last month or so, just catch up on clips. We can send you some guys that you can watch and just watch all their clips. They do post some good clips of stuff.
When is WrestleMania this year?
April the 7th,
6th and 7th. Yeah,
6th and 7th.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
2 nights. And this is what I was going to say earlier. This is the problem when you saying about how wrestling's on late, so you always struggling with it.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I used to hate it because I used to work a normal 9-to-5 job, and Sunday I'd be struggling to go. I'd have to stay up. But now they started doing stuff on Saturdays when I'm a fucking DJ. Like, really? You
can't
couldn't have
win.
done that 15 years ago. I can't win. Like I will be watching WrestleMania Night 1 on my phone, and it'll be on top of my decks at work. Probably going to mess up,
And then
especially if The Rock wins.
we were talking about doing a watch along for Sunday, wasn't we, on TikTok?
Yeah, little watch along. We'll watch along with the three of us. Are you on TikTok, Ryan, enough to go live? You can come watch it with us with open
I'm
eyes.
pretty sure the 6th and 7th is my weekend at work.
Oh,
Would be.
Off the top of my head, it is, yeah.
Right. Have we got much more wrestling to talk about, or are we moving on?
no, I think that's time to
I
move
have
on.
a question for you guys about wrestling.
Oh, go ahead.
Go on.
Each of you, which in your opinion is the best wrestler of all time?
Rock.
I knew you'd say that.
I'm obvious.
Such an old man thing to say. So we're going to be that or Hulk Hogan.
Go on, Tony.
Go back to like Harley race days.
I think overall it would be Undertaker, but let me put this out here right now. The best wrestler to never win a world championship and is easily the most athletic, gifted wrestler ever, Billy Gunn. I'm not joking. I'm fucking real about this, all right?
I was going to say the best wrestler was Undertaker, but my favourite growing up was Jeff Hardy. So, yeah.
Okay.
Rock is the reason I did wrestling. Rock is the reason I watch wrestling. Always be my guy. I've always said that I like to consider myself straight. Most people probably wouldn't. But if I ever did go gay, he'd be the only option that would turn me. And let's face it, if The Rock said, I want to fuck you, you've probably got no choice. You're going to say yes. You can't say no. I couldn't because I'm skinny. And
I'll just drop
leave
him a
his
message
chest.
now if you want while we're recording. See if
Please.
he gets back to me.
Please do. And Tony, speaking of your obsession with Billy Gunn, I realised the other day that I'd been followed by a Billy Gunn fax on X a while ago.
Yeah.
And then the other day when I saw it, it then stormed it. I was like, that's you, isn't it?
So it's not. Right. So I was the original Billy Gunn fax account. I was the first one. And then some guy in America just created the same handle, but instead of Billy Gunn Fact, it was Billy Gunn Facts with a plural. And then I was like, I had it out with him. I was like, mate, kind of like stealing exactly what I'm doing here, kind of shamelessly. And he's like, well, I'm better at it than you. And I'm like, all right, cool. Maybe just because we're two Billy Gunn fans, maybe we could, be fans together. Then he went on a massive tirade and I went public about it. So I was like, yeah, cool, whatever. Then I changed phones, lost my login to that account, and was like, nah, fuck it, at least someone's doing it. So short answer, no, it's not me. Long answer, it was me.
Okay, well, yeah, okay. So I saw it and something it liked or did something, and I was like, I remember when that followed me. Now it makes sense because I now know your obsession with Billy Gunn.
Mhm.
Okay, Tony, while you're there and you're the one talking, and we're going on to the next segment, and this is the one that you're going to take control of. Go for it.
So there's this little show. It made a little mark on the 90s, and some kids might still watch it today. Is Power Rangers. So I don't know about you, Uncle Ryan, but I never watched any of the Japanese stuff until very, very recently. So my beginning was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers when it came out, I believe, in '93. Changed my life as a kid. It became my life as a kid. I've got plenty of happy memories watching it, playing with it, being, playing around in the playground in Yeah, yes. And also playing around with my dick. As every kid does, right? So yeah, I want to have a quick chat with you guys about it.
Sorry, can we just go back to the fact that you just said that every kid plays with your dick? Did they? I mean,
do they still do it?
Yeah, like, can we just clarify this?
Yeah, we can clarify. I'm not on any register. I'm not about to be. No kid has played with my dick since I was a kid, but I was the kid playing with my dick. Why are we talking about this?
You should click. I'm pointing again. You should point. No,
Yeah,
you should point.
That's it.
Is that the way? Yeah.
Yeah.
You, anyone that's listening going, what are they going about the point? Look, you should be watching the episodes as much as you're listening these days. Right? You just said, right, that you were into like kids touching your dick or something, and
Have a look,
I'm just
Tony.
like,
Right.
it's so confusing. It's so confusing.
Right, so I'm really sorry if anyone clicked on this video, clicked on this podcast, and like, fuck it, I want to just get to the good bits and skip to now, and they just hear me talking about me being a kid playing with my kid dick.
Does YouTube do that thing where it says jump to segments and it will like label it like paedophile jokes? Tony's dick touching sessions.
Something tells me we're not getting monetized.
Not until after we're in prison.
So, Uncle Ryan, your Power Ranger memories, I know you were a big fan. I know
Why
you
did
have
Uncle
been a big
Ryan
fan.
make it weird as well? You had to say Uncle
Yeah.
Ryan after that comment. Uncle Ryan. What
Your
makes you
first
become a
Power
Power
Ranger
Ranger?
memories. What's your first Power Ranger memories, mate?
My first Power Ranger memories do not include me touching my penis. That was at least 2 years later. Well, I knew what it was, but I had toys. So Power Rangers, and we've got an episode on Power Rangers back in the season 1. You can hear this there, or you can hear it again. So I remember Power Rangers like this. I remember whatever it was in the morning, GMTV, I think it was back then, on ITV3. By the way, Ryan the Third, you keep calling me the old man. Tony's only 4 months younger than me. I'm still the old man of the group, but he's close. He's close. I remember there being this adverts leading up for me, it's like just a week leading up to this new American TV show, this new team that was coming. And I remember getting up early that morning to watch the first episode. I watched obviously Day of the Dumpster, very first episode, introduced myself to the team of Power Rangers, fell in love with the pink Power Ranger in that moment, and knew that she might be the first person I touched my penis over. Her and a pterodactyl. I did start touching my dick then. I don't know. Power Rangers started from in that moment. I fell in love with that TV show. I was obsessed with it from that moment, and for the next couple of years, that's all I could talk about until I was, as I've mentioned before, bullied into thinking it was not okay to be a Power Ranger fan. But I'm going to tell you the reason we wanted to talk about this is that man. Right, Woody, help me out. Where's Ryan the Third? That way? Yeah, I got it. Okay. Ryan the Third is over there. We met over Power Rangers, and I know you're going to ask him his first memory of Power Rangers, but my first memory of him talks into what you were going to probably mention about personal memories. Yeah. Like me and you, Tony, we discussed it. We met via TikTok because I started commenting on your duetting your videos and stuff. We realized that we have a bond. We should have been mates years ago. Ryan, and you may have to step in, Ryan, because this is my recollection of it.
Yeah, go for it.
I was working at a tattoo studio in Malia, right? Managing a tattoo studio. I've been there all season. It's coming towards the end of the season, or maybe mid-season. And a friend of mine that worked out there, Stacey, had mentioned before that she had a couple of friends coming over, but I see her walking down the street with a guy and a girl. They come over, they say hello, and I'm talking to Stacey and I have a conversation. As I'm having this conversation, I look over at this guy's arm, and on his one arm, he's got a Batman tattoo. And I was like, dude, like, nice Batman tattoo. I like it. Carry on talking. Look over to his other arm as I'm talking, and he's got a Joker tattoo. And I'm like, bro, like, that's weird. Batman, we've got similar tattoos here. Okay, nice. Then I look over to his forearm, and he's got 6 Power Ranger helmets, green in case you were wondering, instead of white. 6 original helmets down his arm. I'm like, dude, I'm like getting my Green Ranger coin. I'm like, you're into Power Ranger. This is so mad. Nice to meet you. I'm Ryan. And he goes, I'm Ryan. Sorry. Is that how you remember it, Ryan?
Briefly, yeah. We were walking down the strip and I see you running over and you grab my arm and I'm thinking, who the fuck is this guy? And then,
He grabbed you by the arm.
Yeah. Well, I think you're reaching for something else, but it's not.
If he'd have had a Power Ranger tattoo on his dick, I'm like,
It's not PG. So yeah, it literally happened as he said. Like he obviously realised we had similar tattoos, and then we just got talking that night. And then I seen them like every night that week. And then towards the end of the week, we had the idea to get the coin that we got tattooed on our hand.
Bring your hand up.
So we both got because we both missed in a White Ranger, we decided to go for that. No, we just
That's
kept
it.
in touch.
You had the 6 6 Rangers, including that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that was the idea. I'd had the Green Ranger coin, so I said I'm planning to get a White Ranger. You don't have anything White Ranger. That's kind of that's the thing we got. So 2 Ryans with the same tattoo. His is slightly different now because he's got the design around it. Those that are listening, go over and watch the video. You can see that we've both got the same tattoo. That's how we met. So that is one of my favorite personal memories of Power Rangers, because it's just, like I said, I met you, Tony. It's just like bonding over the geek shit that we're talking about. Bonding, like imagine meeting someone that his tattoos were like it's like a multiverse version of you. His tattoos were the same as yours but opposite,
Yeah.
and you both called Ryan. It was like it was like the Spider-Man moment where you're pointing fingers like oh look, pointing it out. That's my memory. Carry on, Tony. Carry on. Sorry.
So Ryan the Third, you've got both Green and White Ranger coins on you then, yeah?
Yep, I've got the green one on this hand, but it's again blended in with other tattoos. I've got the 6 helmets. I've got a Lord Draken on my shoulder.
You need to see that, Tony.
I'll whip it out here. Why not? I don't know if you can see that from this angle or what.
Oh yeah, I got it there now. Yeah. Nice. So is Tommy your favorite character of all time then?
So, yes and no. See,
okay.
I think he's the greatest Ranger of all time, but I feel like the greatest characters of all time are potential later on seasons. Just because
beyond Mighty Morphin into Zeo or Turbo,
or even beyond that, I feel like the best, one of the best characters is probably the 2 of the Time Force Rangers because of the character arc and stuff they have.
Is that is that where you started?
No, I started with Mighty Morphin.
Right. Okay.
Sorry. But because I was younger at the time, I stayed with it as the seasons came out. I think I got to about 2005, and then I was like,
wow. So you've gone real far then. So I stopped at the end of Zeo, out of age, and also just like availability as well. So like we got rid of Sky just shortly after Zeo ended. So I wasn't watching it on Fox Kids anymore. And then by the time the film Turbo came out and stuff, I was just kind of like, I was getting more into wrestling and all the rest of it. But you stuck with it. Has there been a time where you've not watched Power Rangers? Like, did you get to like that teenage stage where you're like, no, too cool for this shit?
I got to. It was SPD with my last full season. I think that was about 2003, 2005.
Right.
Then I got to like the teenager age and discovered I liked playing football and watching football, and so that sort of started taking up more of my time.
So it's SPD as well. So like I a lot of later on Power Rangers series I only know from reference on like clips on TikTok and things I've seen online. So like I know there was an era where Disney owned it and there was a lot of like piss taken out of it because it was just literally like 20 minutes of powder explosions in backgrounds, and like, a lot of CGI, bad CGI Zords. So was you watching in that kind of era as well then?
I think I got up to. I definitely saw the Disney era because my favourite season is Wild Force, and obviously every year there's like a crossover episode between the current team and the previous team.
Mm-hmm.
And Wild Force was the season where they finished with Disney and went to, I want to say, Neo Saban. So there wasn't a crossover episode because they went from filming in America to filming in New Zealand.
Yeah. Okay.
So they didn't take that crew across with them. So I never a crossover episode for that one, which is a little bit heartbreaking. Because in the sense that there's a crossover. What'd you say? Sorry.
Was there no? You saying there's no crossover in Wild Force?
They did Forever Red.
Oh, I was going to say that's what I'm thinking. I'm sure that was Wild Force.
But from Wild Force to Ninja Storm, there's no crossover in between.
Gotcha.
So, what was your favorite set of spandex? What was your favorite outfit?
The favorite costume.
Yeah.
So I'd say growing up it would have been Zio because I like the geometrical part of the helmets, and thought it looked quite smart in the suit. But overall, I'd say Mighty Morphin now, just more for the nostalgia. Yeah, like some of the newer ones are okay, but they just look a bit too. I don't know, just not really a design I like. I mean, there's some great costumes out there, but
I always like the ones I like the most are the ones that look as close to Mighty Morphin as the rest. Like Wild Force looked very similar. I like sometimes when they change them, they don't look like, to me they don't look like Power Rangers helmets. But I am a Mighty Morphin guy. Anything that goes back to that is where I go to it. What about you, Tony? Come on, you've asked us our memories of it. You obviously started with Mighty Morphin. What's your memories on it? I can't wait to ask Woody what his opinions on Power Rangers is, because he's not into this, so it's going to be really fun in a minute.
So yeah, like my first memory is a lot like you. I remember seeing ads. What didn't seem like a long run up on for GMTV. I watched Day of the Dumpster and instantly just fell in love with whatever it was I was watching. It was loads different from all the shows I would have been watching at the time, which probably would have been wishy-washy little kids shows on CITV, you know, Budgie the Helicopter, Riddlers, Wizardora, all that kind of cack, and then in comes something with guns and swords and giant robots and smashing into buildings. Pink Ranger, you know, it ticked every single box that you'd want as a kid, really, and instantly fell in love. And my life really did change for it because I became obsessive. It was like my real first big obsession. Collected toys, had clothes. You know, if there was merch, whether it be a lunchbox, a pencil case, bedspread, anything I could find and anything my family could afford, I would make sure they were getting it for me. Completely changed my life.
But you said, like, I can't remember if it was on the episode or just a conversation. You said that obviously, like me, you got rid of everything, didn't you? You got rid of all your collection, and obviously, you've never gone back and bought anything. Like, whereas I literally had to restart everything. I didn't have one bit of Power Ranger stuff, and I've got what I would say is at least 90% of the big stuff I had as a kid. I've got again. Bar actually, some of the things I'm missing. I used to have the gloves. Do you remember them gloves that they had?
Yeah.
The karate chop. Used to push the button in the hands. I had the Yellow Ranger and the White Ranger ones for definite, and pink, to be honest. The gloves, I don't think they'd fit me now, but they were cool. They were. Did you ever see them ride a third? The gloves?
I did, and I recently came across a pair of white ones actually.
Probably mine.
I never bought them. It was actually Manchester Comic Con. Someone was selling them. I think I might have lost you. Oh no, I'm back.
Yeah, we can hear you.
You're here?
Yeah, you cut out a little bit.
Yeah, no, I've seen them on sale at Manchester Comic Con. But that never really interested me getting them, so I never bought them.
Speaking of Comic Cons, Tony, I'm sure I've probably touched on this subject before. Obviously, the first time me and Rutherford met was Malia. The next time we saw each other, but even though we stayed in contact, the next time we actually saw each other in person was MCon in Nottingham 2019, and we got to meet the legend himself, the Green Ranger. Got that story to say that we met. I went with my partner and my oldest stepson, and Ryan met us there. Unbelievable day, right?
It was my first ever Comic Con, that as well.
That was my third or fourth, but to me, probably, I mean, the first one I went to, I got to meet Jason, Zach, Billy, and Aisha, but this one I got to meet the Green Ranger, my guy. And when we got there, we were stood there like figuring out where everything was. We were just stood there, weren't we? And Rocky, the Red Ranger, was just stood next to us. Like, I think Ryan was like,
yeah, I was like, that's Steve Cardenas there.
It was Steve Cardenas. Yeah.
Do you remember what he said to us?
No.
He was walking past, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's Steve Cardenas." And he was like, "Oh, I've got a bit of a hangover, guys, so I'll be out in a bit."
And because I think I said to you, oh yeah, he's just met his new girlfriend. He's just met a new girl, and they've been out drinking every night since they've been here.
Yeah,
and it was all over his story. The girl that he was with, absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. Got himself a little Instagram model, British girlfriend, and that's why he moved over here during lockdown. Tony, please get to the fourth man. I want to know his opinions now.
So, Woody, not a Power Ranger fan?
No, definitely not.
Find the door and walk out, bruv.
Yeah.
Now, go on. So, like,
I was,
as not a Power Ranger fan, is there a reason why? Have you ever dipped into it? Have you ever watched it? Do you know much about it?
I know.
Pick one and answer.
I know about it through Ryan. Obviously,
This one.
it's everywhere. Everywhere it goes, there's something to do with Power Rangers. He talks about it at some point, whoever he meets. And I'm sure as a kid I would have watched it, but it's just never one of them things that stuck in my head that I'm a fan of this. I'm sure I remember having a sword or something, when I was a kid, having one of the swords. But
I probably bought it for him.
but yeah,
Watch this.
It's never been something that I've been into and been a fan of. So my memories of it are non-existent because I couldn't tell you anything about it really. I know there's different colours.
Yeah.
You're not wrong, yeah.
Do you look at it and go, like, it's obviously Power Rangers is known for being quite, like, even the new stuff. They did an anniversary episode last year called Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always. They brought back as much of the team as they could, etc. And it was like, and it is still very childlike. The CGI is still very childlike and stuff. Is that something you look at and go, I could never get into this because it's too pony looking?
I don't know. It's just I would have watched it as a kid. I know I would have, but it's just something I never continued and I never was really into to be able to go, oh, I want to watch this again. I want to continue, or I want to find out more about it. It's just not been my thing.
But people your age, when you were growing up, were there people into it? Because again, like, us three elders, we're in the similar age bracket, and
Right, space. I'm not that old.
Yeah, I'm right. I'm a couple of years older than me, but no. To answer your question, it wasn't a thing in school and stuff like that. Not that I can remember.
Yeah.
So that's probably why it's not part of something I've ever watched. It's not something that people around me has ever spoken about and been into. So it might have missed.
And you know what the sad thing is as well? I don't know if you'd be able to get into it retrospectively because of the reasons that Ryan just said. It is kind of shit, man. It's kind of naff. Like if you've not had that excitement the first time around, the show format is very, very, very similar every episode. The overarching storylines aren't exactly deep.
Is it the nostalgia that keeps you there?
Yeah,
it's now for sure. Yeah. I still dip in and out and watch Mighty Morphin and Zeo a couple of times a year. I'll dip in and watch a few episodes. I watched the reboot-y kind of episode from last year, the feature length. Wasn't that into it, and I think that made me open up my eyes and say, do you know what, Power Rangers isn't great, but because it captured me as a child, it'll always have and it was a massive part of my childhood. Of course, it's always going to have a place in my heart now. I just don't know if I could say, this is going to be good for your homework. Go watch a couple of episodes. Here's some I recommend. Chances are you probably would find it naff, in all honesty.
This is exactly what I was thinking, because like you say, like when I watched that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, I knew like that there was going to be enough of it looking good, like the Power Rangers that I know, but like the CGI for the Zords, like was if anything was worse than what it was in the 90s, because it was really bad CGI. In the 90s they used models, so they look realistic, the CGI. But I went into it and my head was, I'm going into this as the 7-year-old that first fell in love with it. I never noticed these things. You go back and watch it now, and obviously as you see so much. Like we didn't, like you said, you never watched the Zeo Rangers or the Japanese stuff till recently. I didn't even know it was a thing until I got back into it as an adult, because the internet wasn't there. We didn't know about that.
Yeah.
But you watch episodes now, there's literally an episode where there's a Chinese child stood behind the Megazord when he
Yeah.
goes up against the leprechaun guy, isn't it? There's
Yeah.
literally, for a random reason, it's just a Chinese kid because it's part of the story. But you look and there's a Chinese kid hiding behind a fucking Megazord, which
So-
towers above skyscrapers.
So obviously there's a bunch of that. Like as a kid, I noticed it. I didn't know why, but how all the Ranger fight scenes were always a little more grainier and a little more aged compared to like, you know, the stuff in the command center and the school and what have you. And I just thought, cool, it's kind of is what it is. I don't understand why or whatever. But there was one episode in particular that made me question, how was this put together? Like who? You know, as a kid, I didn't understand that there would be like editors and director and what all their jobs were. But I was like, someone's missed something here. And it was an episode either when Tommy became the Green Ranger or was losing his Green Ranger powers. And he was laid out on a table in, I forget Goldar's little realm, something of darkness, I think it was.
Dimension.
And he was laid out on this, dark dimension, that was it, yeah. So he was laid out on this table. He had a load of green candles around him. And then Tommy's JDF's eyes lit up, and then he sat up like Undertaker style, sat up on this table, and then there was a silhouette of clearly a Japanese guy, you know, like didn't have long hair,
I know exactly what
and
you're on
short
about,
spiky, and I was like, no one else sees that, no.
That'd be
And
right.
as an adult, it's too glaring, that kind of stuff now.
One of the things. Go on, Ryan.
No, go on. You're all right.
No, go on. No, listen, you're the guest. Please talk
So,
away.
like, obviously, with me watching a few more seasons deeper than you guys, there's like a certain setting that they have in every single season. And I noticed it from Zero up until like Dino Thunder. It's like some cream stairs or something, and they always seem to morph and fight in front of this area. Every single season, there's an episode in front of that. I'm thinking, like, I'm watching it, I'm thinking, right, they're on Earth on this one, then you go to like another season, it's like Lost Galaxy. There's supposed to be some like other planet or something. I'm thinking they're doing all right to be on the same set as theirs there to say they're halfway around universe.
Woody, this is what I was going to say. Is like this was like these things. Like as an adult, you probably go, mate, what are these guys obsessed with? But like as a kid, like they said, all the fighting footage was the Japanese show, and the Japanese show itself is actually darker. Like it's a lot darker and scarier than the American ones. But anything where they were Rangers and it was the American stuff, you didn't really know. And I didn't actually even realize this till I was an adult. But if you like when Tommy came into it, who is the added 6th Ranger, he came on halfway through season 1. When you saw the Green Ranger, you knew it was the American version because like the Japanese version of his, he had like this slick looking green shield, like gold shield that was sick when it was the actual Japanese footage. It was the bollocks. Then you see the American version and the shield literally looked like it'd come from wherever Tony got his light from.
Yeah, it was a tinfoil shield.
Yeah.
You could even see the creases in it.
It was creased, everything. It was so bad. Like if you could Google it, Tommy's shield, right? You'd see the two differences. Like they actually put that in the show next to clips of it looking good. So it's really fucking weird.
Real quick on that note of Tommy and Japanese American versions. So in Turbo, even as a kid, there was a lot of flack given to Justin, the Blue Ranger, who was a kid who would then turn into a grown Power Ranger. I didn't know until literally, it might have been this side of this Christmas, that the White Ranger from the Japanese show is a kid who goes through the same sort of morphing process, becomes an adult as a Ranger.
Yeah.
And yeah, I watched the episode of where he gets his powers. Again, really kind of dark. Like, I'm pretty sure he keeps his sister hostage while he goes out to get his Power Rangers powers. Like, way different to what we're used to. But
then when you watch it, like I saw that, and I saw that if you put him next to the actual Rangers, he looks 3 foot shorter than them in the costume. At least with Justin, they made him bigger, didn't they? But in this show, you put him next to hang on, what Rangers was it? Dire Ranger.
Dire Rangers, yeah.
Dire Ranger. Obviously, they didn't use them costumes. But when Tommy became the White Ranger, if you watch the first episode, White Light, where he gets his Zord, back as a kid, it was just really excited to be a Power Ranger. But if you watch it now, he literally goes yippee, like Tommy goes yippee, because obviously it's a kid in a Power Ranger, so really excited to be a Power Ranger. He's so over the top. You don't notice that till you're an adult. You're like, oh yeah, like that.
Yeah, when he
Does
gets
look a
on the
bit-
Tiger Sword for the first time and stuff, and he's like,
Yeah.
yes, I remember that now. Yeah,
He literally says "yippee." It's obviously because he's overdubbing what he's seeing,
yeah.
and it's so weird, so fucking weird to see because it's clearly a child. Oh man!
For me,
So
though,
right, go watch Power Rangers.
Or
Yeah,
don't. But would he? Just before we leave, then, like, because you don't know much about it, let me ask you: if you had to pick a color to be a Power Ranger, you're wearing a black top now, so you can't have a Black Ranger. What Power Ranger would you be, and why? Make up a color if you want. If you like orange, I don't think there's ever been an orange one.
It probably would be orange because orange is my favorite color. It's funny. It's really weird that you said that. Literally.
There is actually an unofficial Orange Ranger who was given powers by some Rangers at a Comic-Con.
Okay. What were they?
What? Who was it? You
No,
mean?
What were their powers? Yeah. And
Oh no, I mean, like, basically they were made an honorary Power Ranger because they are associated with the color orange. I don't know if Woody probably wouldn't know it. Ryan the third may know it. Tony, who would be if you were to think back to the 90s, who was associated with the color orange? Or maybe I should ask another question. Who loves orange soda? Kel has been made the
Okay.
unofficial Orange Ranger at a Comic-Con. If you ever get a chance, watch the video. Do you guys know Keenan and Kel?
yeah,
a little bit.
we done a whole
Yeah,
yeah,
so-
on it, right? Do you remember?
Oh yeah. Of
Yeah.
course we did. Keenan and Kel, that's definitely part of your homework. That one's watchable. Power Rangers you may not be into because you have
There-
to be a child to start watching it.
There is
Yeah.
actually 2 Orange Rangers, though.
Oh, Cosmic Fury.
3. I didn't even think of that one.
Yeah, who was the other two?
In SPD, there's a guy called Boom who he's like a side character in quite a few seasons, but he's a different character every time.
Yeah.
So Ryan the Third, actually, that might answer a question that I could probably Google and find out, but bun that, you're here to answer it. Did Bulk become a different character who wasn't Bulk but was a Power Ranger?
No,
Ah.
he does stay as Bulk and become like a purple Warthog Ranger.
Right.
That's in the comics.
In comics wise, but he also stayed in it as Bulk. So he appeared up to Lost Galaxy. So he was like the classic Bulk
Yeah, so
of
he had
Skull.
Skull's nephew, didn't he? He was walking around.
Yeah,
with,
that
right?
was a season I do not remember. I want to say
So I don't know
RPM.
why I've picked up that the guy who plays Bulk played a different character, but
I
he was
know,
dressed
right.
up like an old safari hunter or something like that. I've
I
pictured in
know.
my head.
Hyperforce. It was
Yeah.
an online. It's like an online card game, and it had the guy that played Bulk, not Jason Narvi, it's Paul Schreier. He was playing a different character. It's kind of multiversal stuff. It was like an online. I think it was like an online show where they'd sit around the table and play this card game as Hyperforce Rangers, and he was the yellow
Yeah, he was
Hyperforce
Yellow
Ranger. I
Ram
think he was.
Ranger,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
But
is it
he's
not canon then?
I think they were involved in the multiverse crossover.
Well, I suppose
There were
canon's quite loose in
Enchanted
the
Grid.
Power Ranger world anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, well, because again, you've got the comics as well. The comics are some of the best parts, like the newer comics.
I need to
the
get
Boom
some.
comics.
I need to get some.
They are so fucking good. I've got another Power Ranger memory before we move on that I've got to bring up because this is one of my favorite ones. Obviously, those that know Power Rangers know that the Ranger we spoke about, probably the most, or most people talk about, Jason David Frank, aka Tommy Oliver, passed away a couple of years ago. Obviously, I was lucky enough to meet him with Ryan at Comic-Con in 2019, but Ryan got to meet him another time. And Ryan went to Liverpool Comic-Con, if I'm right, Ryan, if you know the story.
2021, just before COVID lockdown, yeah.
Oh, no, 20. It was 2020.
20
I know,
then, yeah.
it was definitely 2020 because I know the story I'm about to tell. All I knew was that Ryan was going to another Comic-Con and he was going to meet Jason David Frank again. Okay, amazing. Have a great time. When he got back, I got a message off Ryan saying, I need you to send me your address. I've got something for you. And I was like, okay, yeah, no worries. Sweet. Not thinking of it doing a Comic-Con. And then he messaged back saying, actually, it's not for you. It's for Ronnie. Ronnie being my son, who is now 3.5 years old. At the time, Ronnie was still just a sperm and an egg gone together. He was still in the tummy. So my response was like, "You've got something for my son that's not been born yet." Yes. You remember I told you I was going to meet JDF? Yes. Well, I've got him a Funko Pop signed by JDF. So this guy, who at this time I'd only met twice in real life,
Yeah, twice,
went,
yeah.
went to Comic-Con to meet our hero again. And rather than take the time to like talk about how much he loves him, he told JDF that he would like to get something else signed as well for my son that wasn't born yet. Right, I'm sorry. Fucking praise for that man right there.
Not me.
Right, you'll be yeah, half a that one over there. That one over there. Obviously, that's my side of it. That's how I know it. I think Ryan could tell probably a story that he actually stopped and ended up having a conversation with him about how we'd met. So, Ryan, that's your part of the story.
So obviously, like at a Comic-Con, you got your queue of people waiting to meet and sign and pictures and all that jazz. So I got to the front of the queue. I got what I wanted signing, and then I pulled out the Funko Pop, and he noticed a tattoo on my hand. At the time, I didn't have the Mad Hatter tattoo, so it was literally just a coin. So he was asking me about that. So then I told him the story behind it. I told him the story about you, Ryan, and then said I got this idea that my friend he lives far away, he isn't able to make it today, so I want to get this signed for his son that's not born yet. So we were talking about that, talking about the entire how we know each other, and you know how we met and the bond, and the fact that we'd already met before at Nottingham Comic Con. We just held up the queue basically for 10 minutes, stood chatting.
So, like, how the fuck do I top that from someone? Like, the first gift someone gets me is for my unborn son at the time by my hero. Not only does he fucking get something signed, he holds up a queue. And my hero, who when I met him, I was just having sex. I wasn't like going to be a father at the time. I was practicing being a father, right? My son is now known, like JDF knew about my son without me being there, thanks to this motherfucker down here. Like, how do I top that? how do I top that? And then what did he go and do?
You don't.
Yeah, no. So I was like, right, I got you. I can't remember if it was before you got me something else. This is what it's become a competition between us. I then got him a cameo from Zordon.
Yes, you did, yeah.
Like, haha, we're even now. This motherfucker comes down to see me, brings me a set of the fucking Evil Space Rangers, the Lightning Collection, the whole set. I've got you this. It's 2-1 now, isn't it?
With it,
yeah. Turned up to my work from up north with it. Out there, then before I can get even with him, buys me the Lord Zed helmet as well.
Right, so Ryan the Third sounds like a really good friend to have. I'm really pleased to meet you, mate. I'll send you my address shortly. But
yeah, what you into? Yeah.
You two carry on your bromance, Woody, mate. I'm gonna get you like a king size Twix, and like I might get you a share bag of Skittles, and yeah, like come round mine for WrestleMania. I'll cook you up the most banging Rustler's burger you've ever had. Yeah, we can be friends too.
Yeah, that sounds wicked. There we go.
Just so we know, because right now everyone that's listening is probably like, hang on. So he's bought him 3 things. And Ryan only got him the camera. I did actually get him his Blue Ranger helmet as well. So it's 3-2. I still have to try and match this, but JDF died. Like, I can't really top what he did I? Like, unless I get a message from the grave from JDF. Like, his last dying message was to Ryan. I could AI this shit. I shouldn't have brought this up. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get him to do it via AI.
Don't worry.
So yeah. Tony, like, so you know how we've become bromance now? Like, you've got to try and beat that shit if you want to be my friend. I'm sorry.
Mate, I've got twins of £500 gas bills that didn't exist them years ago. Right, so
that's what I said to him. I was like, you started doing this. It would have been great when I was single and I was buying all my parents. I've had to slow down buying stuff because I've got 3 other kids. I've got 2 other kids that ain't mine. I've got to pay for 1 to pay for mine, and Mrs. that cost me. This motherfucker's buying me helmets and gifts that cannot be matched. Like, I can't do it. I can't keep up. I'm too broke. I have bills. It's bullshit. Right. This has gone down a route I didn't want to go. I got emotional again.
It's going to get all emotion.
So what has anyone got any other stories? Woody's like, we stop talking about fucking Power Rangers now, like you and your spandex. Oh, you got a bromance. Like,
I'm all right.
Oh, All Ryan ever bought me was a childhood that I don't want to think about. Right, okay. Me and my uncle. Power Rangers wise, are we moving on or what have we done? How long have we done,
Woody? Let's
Woody?
move on.
Hour and 25.
Shit. Right. We've nearly done it again, boys. It's going to be a 2-hour episode. We need to move on to the final thing of the episode. And let's do this quick because we don't want to upset people with these 2-hour episodes every time. Tony has come up with a new segment, and I like it, Tony. It's called the A-Z of Dork. Every episode, we shit ourselves. I think Woody shit himself earlier when he thought he was going to have to come up with something dorky A to Z in one episode. But we're going to do one letter per episode. And starting with the first one, obviously A, and we're going to all talk about what our A is. It's got to be pop culture reference. It's got to be either a thing, a toy, a show, a movie, or a comic, or a character that starts with the letter A. We're going to go with it. Where should we go first? Tony, you started this gangster shit. So you can start with your A first.
Do you know what? I'll keep it to the subject. So yeah, sorry, we'll keep it on Power Rangers. I'm going to go with Aliens of Aquitar. So
nice.
Not all Power Rangers even fans know about this. So I've bumped into a few people on TikTok and Twitter who aren't aware this was a spin-off, almost standalone series between Mighty Morphin and Zeo. When the Rangers became kids, they had to draft in these aliens from a planet called Aquitar, who were Power Rangers who couldn't live on Earth because they were amphibious, or is that the right word? They lived in water, and yeah, they came and kicked some ass for a couple of episodes, and it was a fun little sort of breather between Mighty Morphin and Zeo. Aliens of Aquitar for A.
Woody, I'm going to have to go to you because obviously I don't know if Ryan the First shit himself then because I know his is Power Rangers related. And you said A, I was like, if he does what Ryan's thought of as well, he's
maybe stick to Ryan the Third. Stick with the Power Rangers and see what.
No, I got a new idea now.
Have you?
Have you?
I had the backup just in case.
Oh, you can because he hasn't said yours because mine's Power Ranger related as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, mine's Power Ranger related, and it's not one of the ones you two are going to say. So, Ryan the Third, what is your A?
Austin Powers.
Oh, Austin. Yeah, baby. Why Austin? Why did that come to mind for A?
You said pop culture, and I thought, who more iconic than Austin Powers?
I'd argued Ace Ventura, but Austin Powers is up there.
See, I forgot. I'm not the Ace Ventura guy.
Yeah, slightly younger.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I mean, Austin Powers is just... You won't be able to get away with that today, would you?
No.
I think that's why it's partly so funny.
It's like Little Britain. We can go back and enjoy Little Britain, but it would not come. Even that Come Fly With Me, which wasn't that recent. You look at that and go, oh, to be fair, the kids these days would not appreciate that. Austin Powers, man, I love them films.
Good shout.
Very good shout. Okay, Woody, let's go to you because I know yours isn't going to be Power Rangers related.
No. So I've gone with Adam Sandler. You didn't say actors on there, Tony, on the brief, but I thought it works. It works. We spoke about him a lot in some of the videos that we've put out recently, with some of our favorite movies, our top fives. I just love his movies.
I'm not gonna lie. One of the things I've rewatched this week has been The Waterboy. I realised it was on Disney Plus, so I watched Waterboy. I fucking love that film.
Great film.
Absolutely great. My A, I am going to stick with Power Rangers. Ryan the Third's original, by the way, Tony, and it's going to make you go, Alpha 5, he was going to say originally. So when you said yours was going to be Power Rangers later, I think we both looked at each other and went, oh no, he's going to steal it. He's going to steal it. My A, originally, when I said earlier I've got one, the first thing I thought of was Austin St. John, who plays Jason the Red Ranger. But then I realized there's someone else's name who starts with A that is a Power Ranger, Amy Jo Johnson. My first ever massive crush, and I still love this woman, Amy Jo Johnson. Oh, the pink Power Ranger.
Interesting, because that was my first pick. But I changed it because I thought, you know what, I'm going to talk about this in the Power Ranger memories, but I never got to it. So my sister Amy is named after Amy Jo Johnson.
Nice.
So me, it's just me and my mum she was sitting on the sofa. I was sit cross-legged watching. I think it was a VHS of Power Rangers, and she was talking to her friend on the phone about baby names for my sister who was to be born. And then I was like, Pink Ranger's real name's Amy. I don't know why I'll suggest that, and I did, and she like kind of dismissed it, and I kept on it for a couple of weeks, and it paid off. My sister is called Amy, and she's named after the Pink Power Ranger.
Well done. I'm proud of you. My cats are called Tommy and Kim.
Nice.
But yeah, obviously Power Rangers related. And there was a girl that used to work in Malia out there. Her name was Trini. Her first name was Trini, spelt exactly the same as Trini. And I said to her, "Oh, I love your name. It's really cool, Power Rangers." She went, "Oh, you're one of them." I went, "Why?" She went, "I'm named after the Yellow Ranger. My older brother, one of them. My older brother chose my name when I was a kid because he was into Mighty Morphin Power Rangers." I was like, nice. And my partner's name, obviously, I'm not going to say her full. She doesn't like her full name being used, but she's known as Trini. So, got myself a Power Ranger girlfriend.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Nice.
That is the A to Z of Dork. We started with A. We've gone round the list. Other memorable or mentionable A's. Can anyone think of anyone else we haven't said?
Hey Arthur.
Hey Arthur. Alf. Absolute fucking classic. Them two probably don't know who that is.
Who the hell is Alf?
Alf was a little alien that lived with a family. Yeah.
And he was a bodacious dude.
The obvious ones that I said to Woody earlier, if you're struggling with it, you could use one of these. I'd make sure I won't. Avengers or Ant-Man, big in the pop culture.
I was thinking the Avengers, but then it's the Avengers, and I didn't want to. I thought.
Yeah. Okay, so for future reference, we will count the as the preceding letter, like
like a
take the out of the equation. Yeah, exactly.
That's cool, but just so you know, when we get to R and T, I'm going to use the same name. I'm going to use The Rock and Rock. Just so you know, that's my answers for R and T. It's going to be the same thing. This has been another episode of Talks with Dorks, season 2. We called this one with more added Ryan because there's 3 of us and 1 Tony. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If you're watching, don't forget, if you have just been listening, you need to go and watch the videos because there's a lot of stuff that's now relevant in these videos, like Tony's shit light and his camera freeze. You've just got to see the freezing camera over there. We need to get you an Ethernet cable. That could be your gift to him, Woody, an Ethernet cable that works.
That's it.
Please, give me a good 20-meter one. We're in business.
Is that what you need? Is it a 20 meter? That's what I've got running out to mine. It's a 20 meter. You've got. Well, you need one if you've got one.
No, I got one running all the way through the house.
See, and he's the rookie on. Yeah, which one? This one over here, over there. Don't forget, if you haven't already, press that subscribe button. I don't even know what that's going to be. Press that subscribe button. Make sure you follow us on, it's down there somewhere. Make sure you follow us on all the social medias at Talk Dork Podcast. I always go around and give the boys a chance to say one final thing. I have a feeling I know what at least one of them's going to say. But boys, any final words? Start with Woody.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you thought of this episode, and I'll see you later.
Tony.
Adam was the second best Power Ranger. Billy Gunn is the best wrestler, and you're all yogurt chewers.
That was his original A and B. Mr. Ryan the Third. Any final words from you?
Yeah, thank you to you guys for having me on. It's been an absolute pleasure.
We might invite you back if we get loads of views.
Just like talking with a few mates, isn't it?
This is Talks with Dorks for you. That is how we do it. This is the whole point. It's not to sit here and rant on about politics.
You did really well with that one, then.
Yeah, it's just a group of mates that like to have a conversation. That's where it started. That's where it will always be. From me, final goodbye. See you later. Anyone else?
See ya.
See you later, everyone.